Alright everybody, this is Josh. Josh is licensed HVAC tech. He's our installer. He's a real asset to the team. He's going to kind of walk you through what he's been working on the last couple days, and I'll let him take it from here.
Yeah, we're installing a 80% furnace in the attic with a 2-ton AC. I'm just getting the collar in for the main return flex going on the side, and measure, make sure I can put the collar in and it'll fit in access. Otherwise I'll have to do the work from up there. I just ovaled it just slightly because it's pretty much the same size as the plenum is wide and everything. Trace it out, knock a hole in it. Cut the hole out. Usually do it just a little bit small, so I can set up there and see exactly how much to trim out. You don't want to make the hole too big. Yeah, you don't want it to leak at all, especially in the attics. In the summertime, you're trying to cool the place. You'll be pulling in that really hot attic air. I gotta cut out this. It's insulated because it's in the attic with the temperature difference and everything. It's unconditioned space, so that's the ductwork has to be insulated. And I just bend the tabs in so it actually fit in there.
Would you recommend that a homeowner ever tries this themselves?
I wouldn't, because there's a lot of variables to it. You know, if something's leaking, especially the air conditioning side of it, you gotta have special tools, vacuum, and micron gauges and all that, and recovery equipment to get the old units out. Up in the attic, you gotta have safety switches from the condensate, because you can have water issues in the drywall and stuff like that. And also exhaust fumes are nothing to mess around with. You don't want to risk anything like that leaking.
So basically, anytime you have ductwork that needs to be repaired, you'd recommend calling out a qualified professional?
Yeah, I would, for sure. Fit that in there. Going over all the tabs.
So when it's real close to the sides like that, like it is, what do we do with those tabs that are closer to the side like that?
You just bend them over as much as you can, because the rest of the tabs are going to hold it in securely and everything.
Right.
I'm going to shoot a bead of caulk around it all to seal it up. It's silicone, I could say caulk.
Yeah,
But
you're good.
Alright, so this is the 80% Bryant furnace connected to the 2-ton Bryant air conditioner. This is our return side. I'm going to hook this into here, and that's going to get hooked to this 16-inch return flex right there. I'm just going to line it up so there's no leaks. Like I said, you don't want to be pulling in this nasty attic air, dust, and insulation and everything. Just put a few more, make sure it's secure, and then I'll seal it up from the inside. I'll go around the edges of this from the outside, and then I'll hit the bottom from the inside.
And the silicone just makes sure the steel is airtight.
Exactly. So this Bryant furnace, it's a multi-position. It can go as an upflow, like in a basement application. It can go downflow. A lot of slab homes will have a downflow. And then a horizontal right or left. This is a horizontal right. So it's sucking in from here. And this is the front, and it's blowing the air out the top to the right. That's why it's called a horizontal right. And then we got our 2-ton coil up there. They'll blow through there, and we disperse that existing supply plenum there throughout the building.
What was going wrong with the last furnace in this building?
The furnace was very old and had a cracked heat exchanger. It had very bad flame rollout and everything. When I first got here, someone had the gas off to it, and you could tell they just replaced the burner assembly, and there was just piles and piles of rust up in the heat exchanger. And then on the back of it, you could see where there's a bunch of flame rollout, which all signs are pointing straight towards the hole in the heat exchanger, which that's very dangerous. The carbon monoxide, it's odorless. You don't want to mess around with the flue and everything, especially that cracked heat exchanger. You want to get a new one. You don't want no unit with cracked heat exchanger with carbon monoxide. That is very bad. It could be difference of life and limb. You don't want to mess around with that. Problems in here. So the return plenum is all installed and sealed. I just gotta trim the 16-inch flex to go into it and hook all that up and we're good to go. And you always gotta have a filter on your return side. There's a filter grill in the room down there to where they can change the filter once a month without crawling up in the attic. Or otherwise, most cases the filter would just be right here, right before the return goes into the furnace. But like I said, they got the filter grill, so you don't gotta climb up here. That way, everything's sealed up. All the air that's going into this furnace will be going through that filter. It's not gonna pull no attic air or nothing like that you don't want. So when you're running your furnace, the furnace has to breathe. The return is taking the air in, and then the supply air that gets dispersed through your house to heat and cool is the other side of it. So if that return is clogged, like a clogged filter, you're heating this up, there's nowhere for that heat to go. Your furnace is just gonna get hotter and hotter. And years of doing that, it's getting really hot and cooling off. It'll definitely crack your heat exchanger. In the summertime when you're running your cooling, if you get a clogged filter, your coil can't breathe, no airflow over it. It's just going to get colder and colder and freeze up, turn into a big block of ice. And then being up here like it is, not in a basement, you'd risk getting water damage in your ceiling and everything. We got a drain pan with a built-in safety switch. So any little bit of water that senses, it'll kick the unit off, not let it run, keep generating the condensation. So you can see this 16-inch flex duct. The black part's the actual duct, and then this is insulation. Again, we're in the attic. Our return plenum is also insulated on the inside, as well as the supply. Because the unconditioned space up here, you gotta have it insulated or you can have condensation issues. So I just push the insulation back. Feed that over the flex collar. Use screws. They're called Pando shafts. They're giant zip ties, is what they are. Probably have to double it up. Usually do on this bigger pipe. And I'll put one on the liner duct and then on the actual insulation outside. Making sure I push all the insulation up to the plenum. That way there's no bare metal that's not insulated from the inside or the out. It's called a Panduit gun. It just snugs it down and cuts it. Touch all the insulation. Snug it up again. Alright, that's the return. So I would just go in there just like that. And you latch that, and that's the filter rack, so no one has to get in the attic. I can just change it from here and everything. Yeah, he spotted that. You can see the gap there. Definitely have to put that back and everything, and then it will be completely sealed from everything. Will be going through the filter that ends up in that furnace. Now we're gonna hook up this 4-inch flue exhaust pipe. So this is multi-positional. You can go upflow, downflow, horizontal right, which we're doing today, horizontal left. So it has all these knockouts for the different positions. So I'm gonna pop this out and then pop the hole, the knockout out. Just put it back in the same position. They've been a trusted brand for a long time. They're really good to work with. They got a good warranty and everything. It's pretty installer friendly equipment. They last a while. It's really good stuff. 4-inch elbow hooked directly to the furnace. You gotta put 3 screws in each connection joint. So this is the existing flue pipe going out the roof. This is double wall for the code for clearance and everything. Then I'll connect single wall to here. So we got the clearance for it. It has to go uphill, it can't go down at all because of the flow of the exhaust fumes and everything. Like I said, there's nothing to mess around with the carbon monoxide. Make a little mark every couple inches. I cut straight. Hear it click together. That's good. Pop that on. 3 screws. I'll situate the right angle. And I just measure the distance between. I'll make my next piece. Open up the seam right there. Gonna cut it. Run this straight. Pop right in together. Make sure every joint has 3 screws. Yeah, I'll put a hanger on it here in a minute. Alright, and that's the flue pipe that it hooks to the furnace. This inducer fan will spin, and that's shooting the exhaust fumes out. But at the same time, that inducer fan is pulling in fresh combustion air for the combustion and everything, and that's the exhaust pipe. I've been doing heating and air since summer of 2004. I've did hundreds of thousands of units. This is pretty basic, but I wouldn't recommend a handyman or a do-it-yourselfer wanting to tackle something like this. There's a lot of things that go wrong, whether it be drywall damage all the way up to carbon monoxide going through your house. It'd be very bad. Health concerns and stuff with that. So you definitely want to get a qualified professional to get it. You know, it's going to be done properly, done right the first time. If you're in the need of a new HVAC system, you can get a hold of us. We're out in the Dayton area, all the surrounding areas around Dayton, and we'll get you all fixed up.